Hey everyone, and we're here in week 2 of New Testament Literature 1. And I'm going to go over the assignments for this week and hopefully clarify any confusion on them, help you feel like you've got a good grasp. So here we are in week 2. I'm here on the announcement page, which most of you should be pretty familiar with at this point. I've obviously already posted a discussion board response from last week, and I'll try to do that each week. I'll also post when necessary a response to like your assignments, because last week, really a lot of this week as well, but last week was really more of a reflection based piece, and not something where I'm going to give tons and tons of feedback. I may post like an example of one of you guys that did a great job with it, just so you can see an example, but by and large, I'm not going to post something additional for that unless it's really necessary. So here we are in week 2, and the assignments are below, as you can see. The objectives for this week: defend and discuss the reliability of the Gospels on a historical, philosophical, and literary grounds in light of recent movements in critical New Testament scholarship. A mouthful? Yes. Complicated? Not really, as you'll see us break things down in the reading this week. Number 2, compose ideas for preaching, teaching, and discipleship by applying sound historical, philosophical, literary, and exegetical methodology to the Gospels. Okay, so we're both going to defend and discuss some of these concepts of the reliability of the Gospels, and then we're also going to discuss ideas in the applicational sense of these things. So, as usual, there'll be a reading report that you'll have to complete at the end of the week. As it has been the case already, the readings that are not in your books will say in Lesson 2 resource folder. So you'll just go into Lesson 2 to open those up. We have, there's your scripture reading for this week, just some chapters out of Luke. And then the optional reading, again, is just, it's optional. You don't need to do it to do any of the work, or if there's a quiz, it won't be on the quiz and that sort of thing. But it is good if for those of you that want some additional resources for things, which is always nice to have. Then we've got the Jesus Under Fire assignment. I'll go over that in a second. Now keep in mind that this assignment is not due next week. It's actually due in week 4. But you will start it this week, and please don't leave it to the last minute in week 4. If it could all be done, or if it was meant to be done all in one week, we wouldn't be giving it to you now, because you'll have other assignments that will be going on in the next couple weeks. So then you've got the discussion board this week is on the Jesus Under Fire assignment. It's kind of like a brainstorm piece. So what we're trying to do here is start you into this assignment by utilizing the discussion board interaction with your classmates as you get that assignment going, okay? So let's open up week 2. And again, when you turn things in, the discussion board gets turned in by clicking that link. Sorry, no, it does. Actually, I don't know if that one will take you there. You actually need to go to group discussions. Excuse me. Group discussions, which is right there. That is how you do the discussion board. What I was trying to attempt to do is show you, again, you go into these to turn in the reading report, to turn in your assignment, like the Jesus Under Fire assignment. You would click there, except that it's not due this week. So there's no link under here. It'll be in week 4. So to turn in an assignment, you always have to go into the week that it's due to turn it in, and there'll be a link there for you. Okay, so hopefully that hasn't thrown anyone off so far. And that's how that works. Lesson 2 resource folder. You're going to find all your readings that aren't in the textbooks but are required for the week. And then the Jesus Under Fire little worksheet is here for you to do with the assignment. Now, before I go over that, I'm going to read you the details of the assignment that are in the syllabus. So to find the details of each assignment, you got to hit syllabus and then scroll down to the different assignments. And here you go. Assignment 2, Jesus Under Fire. Okay. Critical scholarship in past centuries has unceasingly attempted to erode all that the church has to say about Jesus. Though many may admit that Jesus was a real historical person, almost everything that Christians confess has come under fire. You like that? That's where we get our title this week. The readings in week 2 will expose students to the ongoing work of critical biblical scholars and historians, and also relevant evangelical responses. Now suppose that you have received an email from a college-age friend who you know well. He or she is attending a well-known university and has decided to take an elective on Jesus and the Gospels. This is a pretty common occurrence. If you have a friend that goes to a state school, for instance, let's say you're from Chicago and you have a friend going to the University of Illinois while you're studying at Moody Bible Institute, very likely could take a class that fulfills a general bachelor's degree requirement that talks about Jesus and the Gospels. It's likely not going to be taught by a follower of Jesus, and that professor is likely going to attack many of the things that have never really been attacked in your evangelical circles. Now, though your friend, I'm reading now from the assignment again, though your friend's intention was to grow in their faith through this endeavor, it does not take him or her long to realize they are in over their heads. Your friend has been asked to study the Gospels from a non-confessional and critical point of view, meaning study it from the perspective that you don't actually believe this stuff. Only a few weeks in, he or she has more questions than answers. Therefore, you have received an email containing the following paragraphs. In class, we have started to study something called the Jesus Seminar. My professor says that science and history show that most of what Jesus is and said to have said or done in the Gospels is actually historical fiction or exaggerated legend. I am starting to wonder if my professor is right. Can Jesus really be all that the New Testament says he is? If you could, I would appreciate your opinion on this. 1. Who exactly is this Jesus Seminar and what do they do? My professor sure refers to them a lot. Number 2, is it possible for us to know anything historical about Jesus? And number 3, are these records accurate even when they talk about miracles? Finally, I'm starting to wonder if all of this actually matters. This is all so complicated. I want to just give up and ignore what my professor says and follow Jesus on blind faith. What do you think? 4, do these issues matter for our faith in Jesus? The numbers in the second paragraph that we're seeing here are included for the student's aid. Ensure to respond to each of these questions. So what we're saying here is we've numbered out these different questions. I do kind of want to see them in bold throughout your paper maybe, but we have it also in the worksheet that you can fill out. So it says, using the Jesus Under Fire outline document in the course resource folder, in a minimum 3-page double-spaced paper, compose a friendly and helpful response to your friend's question. Students are encouraged to depend on this week's reading in Wilkins and Moreland. Superior grades will be given to students whose responses adequately answer each question and demonstrate a measure of creativity or believability. Now, don't get so creative that it's not believable. That's what we're saying here. So, let's open up that paper outline, Jesus Under Fire outline. Now, keep in mind, this is not a worksheet that you turn in for a grade. You are going to write a letter paper that you turn in for the grade. This outline is to help you. So I want you guys to make sure you're answering each one of these in your letter. And if you could mark it somewhere in the letter, of when you start referring to these things, whether you continue the letter and put these headers into it somewhere, that would be helpful. You could just put a parentheses of 1, 2, 3, 4, just so I know that you're answering these questions in throughout the letter, if that makes sense. So again, please include only the outline in your final paper. This worksheet should not be submitted as the assignment. Please direct any questions, obviously, to myself. So I really do want this to flow like a letter. I'm giving you this outline to fill in to help you understand really the 4 main things that you want to answer in the letter from your reading this week, and it should be pretty fun. Now, the discussion board. Let's go back to week 2 and talk about the discussion board. Really really briefly. All right. So the Jesus Under Fire brainstorm to help students organize their thoughts and interact with the views of their fellow classmates. This week's discussion board will serve as a brainstorming space for the Jesus Under Fire assignment. Each student is required to interact at least twice. 1. Post your response to one of the 4 major questions posed in this assignment. You just saw there were 4 questions. So in the discussion board this week, you're going to post to one of those 4 major questions, if possible. Post sections of the assignment with less presence in the discussion. What does that mean? When everyone answers number 1, don't post another number 1. Post a 2, 3, or 4. Everyone's not doing 1, 2, 3. You need to do 4. Now, how are we going to see this? You, when you make your post, are going to see who's posted so far. And those of you that post earlier in the week or first are going to get essentially the preference to choose which questions. Then by the end of the week, if a lot of people aren't doing 2 and 4 or just 4 or just 3 or just 1, you want to make sure that you're answering a question that needs to be answered. Okay, so please do that. If not, I'm going to ask you guys to make additional posts so that we're helping each other out in answering those questions. All right. So then you're going to interact with at least one other student's post in a constructive and critical manner. Now, what does this mean? Usually we'll have you respond to 2 people's. That's not going to happen this week. You just need to do 1, unless I'm seeing that some of you aren't, or that none of you are answering some of the questions. So you're just going to have 1 initial post on one of the questions, and then you're going to interact with at least 1 other student's posts in a constructive and critical manner. This one should be pretty easy to know what to do, because it's a really good discussion board type of topic, because it's kind of on a debate. Hey, you did a great job answering number 2. I thought it would strengthen your answer to add some of this, that, or the other sort of thing. So you can really help each other out as you're forming your letters, and maybe some of you even have some friends that have talked about this Jesus Seminar thing, or it would be a fun thing to bring up in a discussion or Bible study small group or something like that. This is a really fun, constructive assignment, I think. So 5 to 10 point bonus on this assignment is going to be given to students who demonstrate generous involvement in the discussion board. Remember, the discussion board is due this week, but the assignment's not due till week 4. All right? Well, have a good time with this, guys. Any questions, just let me know. And now I got to figure out how to turn